Our speaker, Dr. Moses Arokoyo, is an accomplished veterinarian with strong experience in both corporate and professional leadership across sub-Saharan Africa. He currently serves as the president of the Nigerian Veterinary Medical Association and is also the country manager for GovMed, where he leads the implementation of livestock health innovation and access strategies in Nigeria. He has previously held senior roles at Boehringer Ingelheim, supporting regional strategy and market development. His work focuses on strengthening animal health systems through leadership, advocacy, partnerships, and emerging technology-driven innovations that improve access to livestock health solutions. Thank you so much, Dr. Moses. The floor is yours, sir.
All right, thank you so much, and a very good afternoon to everyone. Please just let me know if you can see my screen. I'm trying to share. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can, sir. You can
Okay.
just put in the presentation mode for clearer view, sir.
Okay, is it okay now? Does this work?
N- Not set in the presentation view from my hand.
Okay, let me stop sharing and share again. Does this work?
Okay, yes, I think it's clearer. We can go ahead, sir.
Okay, so a very good afternoon to everyone, and thank you for the invitation, and thank you, Dr. Patrick, for your presentation. It was quite insightful. I'll take it from here, and I'll be speaking briefly to the public-private partnership for veterinary innovation in this AI era. Permit me, I'm going to be a bit fast. I've been having meetings back to back today and have another meeting in the offing. Okay. So my name is Moses. As I've been introduced, I'm the president of MVMA. Just to mention a couple of things about myself, I'm into leadership modeling. This is one of the things I have passion to do, social support, mentorship. I'm actually very passionate about scaling startup, entrepreneurship, and then a strategic stakeholder in the livestock industry with over 24 years of experience. The AI revolution. So I like to remind us, we've come through different stages as a global village. We've seen industrial revolution that has led us to mechanization. We've seen how our fathers, the people, the age before us, were doing things in a particular way, and then came the industrial revolution, and everything began to change. We began to see tractors, we began to see machines, payloaders, the like of them, taking over what our fathers were used to doing. So there is a gradual movement, and now we are seeing digital revolution. Information is gold, as it has been said today. And then very quickly, I think the time lag is not so much, and we're having the AI revolution. Let me mention at this point that when times change and you don't adapt very quickly, only one thing is going to happen. You are either part of that, you get into the room where the change is happening based on adaptability and your flexibility, your agility and speed, or you find yourself out of the room. I say that with every sense of emphasis. We are in this era of AI revolution where intelligent decision making is the way to go. I mean, we've seen scenarios where people are working in a corporate organization and you've been there for 20 years, you've been there 15 years, you've been there 10 years, and all of a sudden a young guy comes in, with 3 years of working experience from somewhere else. He joins the company, and in 6 months, 4 months down the line, he's promoted to head the department where other persons of 20 years experience before him have been. This is what AI revolution is doing today. And veterinary medicine is entering an era where data is what would drive the health outcome of our animals. And so my key message, or one of my key message today, is that though AI is not here to replace veterinarians who use AI, or who don't use AI rather, will replace the ones who use it. And this is the truth as it is. And I'm going to close that with a prediction based on the 80-20 rule. I'm sure we know the Pareto principle, where it is said that you will achieve 80% of your result from a 20% percentage part of it. It's like being in a sales and marketing company where we can align that to say that 80% of your sales will come from 20% of your strategic customers. And so in the same way, veterinarians who embrace technology, who embrace this AI revolution, are simply going to replace those who do not embrace it. And this is the reality as it is. So key message here, AI cannot replace veterinarians because we're operating in a very complex environment, different species of animals, each of them with their different further complications, depending on the presentations of the case, as it were. But if we do not begin to align and to adapt ourselves to the revolution, we would have to give space for those who do. And this, I'm sorry, is the blunt reality, as it were. You can ask Nokia and all the phones, as it were, that came before Apple and the likes of what we have today. There was a time when all of them were leading the market, and all of a sudden, just within short time, a decade thereabout, we have all of the phones that we are using today. And Nokia is probably now nowhere to be found. The same story you can tell for Techno and the likes of them. I remember the first phone I used was a bed flip cover. It looks like, I was on top of the world. That phone now, if I carry it, even my son will ask me to throw it away. So this is the reality. And this is what revolution has the power to do. And we are talking AI revolution. Why does it matter for Africa? We have so many challenges in Africa. Transboundary animal diseases is increasing. We have PPR, we have FMD, we have the Newcastle disease, and so on. We have anthrax. We have so many increasing transboundary diseases. And with this is emerging zoonotic diseases. We are all veterinarians here. You know that 75% of the emerging and re-emerging disease are from animal origin. And as man and animals, as urbanization increases, and in Nigeria, that is at about 4-5%, as urbanization is increasing, the gap between animals and man is becoming closer. And this is why we are seeing a continual outbreak. And if we continue to urbanize, and it is predicted that in some decades down the line, 60% thereabout of Nigerians will be living in the urban area. If that happens, chances are the closer we get to our environment, the closer we excavate, The closer we go to where, take for instance, anthrax has happened before, and we excavate the soil, there is every chance that there will be an emerging of a zoonotic disease. So we are facing these challenges, and I mean, the comparison today in Nigeria is one veterinarian to 2,500 animals. So I can tell you from where I sit that there is a shortage of veterinarians. Our surveillance systems are weak. Livestock productivity, our cattle here produce 3-4 liters as against 20 to 30 liters of the counterparts in other climes of the world. The climate change impact is there. And of course, there's poor access to quality animal health services. Now, AI offers the opportunity to dictate disease earlier, just like Dr. Patrick said. We can dictate disease earlier. We can improve our diagnostic ability. We can enhance surveillance. We can increase productivity. There are machines today. If I take poultry as an example, there are machines like UvaVac machine that can vaccinate 30,000 birds in 20 minutes as of today. And these are vaccination practices. We need to engage probably 10 people, 15 people, and they spend, if you do the maths, about 9 hours, to vaccinate these birds. But as of today, you can vaccinate 30,000 birds in just 20 minutes. And this is the beauty of AI and the technology that we are talking about. So we can increase our productivity, and we can have evidence-based decision making. Now, talking about public-private partnership, and that's how that aligns to the topic of focus, a collaborative arrangement between government, private, practice, university, development partners, associations. When we have a collaboration between two parties, public would be the government, and then the private will refer to all the others, and they all come together jointly to develop a sustainable veterinary innovation. That is what I would simply define as a public-private partnership. And for those of you who follow the trends in NVMA, you will know that in the last 2 years, this is one of the things that we have tried to do. The message here is that innovation is the foundation for success. And we cannot talk innovation if we don't put the word collaboration in the room. And so when we bring institutions and private sector, public sector together in an arrangement to achieve a sustainable goal, we are talking about public-private partnership. And why does it matter? It matters because there is no single institution that can deliver AI transformation alone. No, there is none. The government can't do it alone. The private sector cannot do it alone. The academia can't. The development partners cannot do it alone. Every single one of these mentioned has their specific role to play. If you talk regulation, talk policy, talk public veterinary services, that would be the role of the government. For the innovation, for the investment, you need the private sector. They need to see the project, and then they put money to it, and then that drives the sustainability. Excuse me. And like I always say, any profession is as strong as the private sector. And in Nigeria, 80% of the veterinarians are in the private sector. So we are going to be as strong as our private sector will ultimately be, and we cannot overlook the fact that we need an alignment with the government because they drive regulation and they drive the policy. And then the academia, the training comes from them. And of course, we scale up whatever project we put our hands to by the support of the development partners. AI finds application in veterinary medicine, in disease prediction, in assisted diagnostics, smart labs, tele-veterinary consultation, drone surveillance, like you have this company Zipline now in Ghana and Kenya, helping to deliver anti-rabies vaccines across the country. Remote sensing, vaccine logistic optimization. These days now, when you transport vaccines from any part of the world, for instance, South Africa, France, the US into Nigeria, it's very, very easy to track the cold chain of that product. Very easy, very easy. All you need to do, if there is a temperature logger inside of that box, You just take out the temperature logger, plug it to your laptop. It brings out the graph of the cold chain. It tells you at what point the temperature went down, at what point it went up. So these are applications, these are innovations, these are technological change that we must begin to embrace as veterinarians. And of course, we have the digital extension services. Across the veterinary value chain from the farm to the animal identification, surveillance, lab diagnostic, vaccination, market intelligence. Ultimately, across this value chain, if we're able to come up with policy that are AI championed, it will help for better policy decisions. And you can just imagine if you have all of this information as you see on the screen, put on one particular platform from the farm to policy, to market intelligence. If you have this dimension and access to data, our decision as per policy will not just be real time, it will be effective, it will be realistic, and it will speak to the data. Data-based decision. And like it's been said, if it's not recorded, it didn't happen. And this is one of the challenges of Africa. We suffer for data. A lot happened, but we have no data to show. Innovations happen, there are no data to show. We find things, innovations, we are the first comers in certain things, but there is no record. If it's not recorded, it didn't happen. And so the key message here is that AI can improve our efficiency and at every stage, from the farm to the market, and to market intelligence, to how we do things in the lab, to the treatment, to the vaccination. And if we have access on one singular platform, just imagine that for a moment, it will make for better policy decision. For disease surveillance, we do that in two different ways. We could keep the traditional way of manually reporting, which what we suffer. I was in a meeting some couple of months ago, and somebody stood up and said there were 150 million poultry in Nigeria. I laughed because I was part of the people who 7 years ago, thereabout, went on the field, for a sponsored project to generate that number. And I asked myself, does it mean that poultry that is growing at the rate of 5% in this country have not grown since then? We do manual reporting, and our response are oftentimes delayed because of limited coverage. There are not enough coverage. You want to do sampling, surveillance. The funds are simply not there to deploy the kind of coverage that we want. And I'm talking to you real time from where I sit. So if we have an AI-enabled surveillance, real-time reporting, predictive analytics, just imagine, we load all of this real-time reporting into a system, and the system is able to give predictive times of when there is likely, based on history, based on graphical representation of the loaded data and information, is able to predict that at this time or this other time, there's likely going to be an outbreak of, say, avian influenza, which, from manual reporting, we can easily predict to say there will be outbreak of avian influenza sometimes between November into the next year, January, February, March, the Q1. This can be better predictive if it is AI enabled in terms of surveillance. And so we have faster outbreak responses. So what am I trying to say? An AI enabled surveillance would better a traditional surveillance. And let me also digress to mention AI in itself is as good as the information that is has. So just like Patrick said, you don't copy and paste. So AI can never replace veterinarians. It can never replace our complexity, our ability to handle the complex situations of life as humans and also as veterinarians, case in point. So, but we can be better enabled. The outcome here is early detection rather will save the animals, the livelihood, and of course, public health. And like I said earlier, the government has a role to play. They have to develop policies, invest in digital infrastructure, because that is very, very important to have well deployed AI. You need to strengthen our information system, our NADIS, as it is with the government. National Livestock Database promotes interoperability between one department and the other. And of course, the government has to be there to protect data privacy. You know what we do today with AI? If you give your son or your daughter your phone, I bet they know that for more than you. who have been carrying it for 3 years. I mean, these guys are becoming more and more, tech efficient because this is the revolution as it is of this time. And the private sector too also needs to invest and provide cloud structure, expand digital veterinary service, support commercialization, of course, developing AI solution like livestock sensors, smart ear tags. There are places in the world today, Spain and the likes of them, they have these collars around the neck of their cow, and you don't need a fence. The cow just gets to a certain boundary, and the collar triggers a very mild shock, and the animal returns back. So the world is moving on. There is a revolution that is here, and we cannot hide away, from it as veterinarians. Our universities must develop research in this order, generate quality data set, train future veterinarians. Our training, our curriculum must begin to involve AI, data science, GIS, digital epidemiology, precision livestock farming. I was in a meeting a week ago where the talk here was about precision farming. It's not just about farming, it's about being precise. Yeah, precision farming. You can know what comes from one animal over the next 10 years, depending on the input. You know what exactly to expect as an output, across the value chain. We are now talking precision in terms of farming system. And of course, the associations, veterinary associations must be there to do advocacy and to promote ethical AI. So it's not just about using AI. Privacy has to be respected. The ethics has to be respected. And then, of course, lead continuous professional development. What are the challenges of AI adoption? Poor connectivity. You see what we suffered at the beginning of the meeting, a couple of network issues. Those are part of the challenges. We have limited digital infrastructure, fragmented data. Like I said, AI cannot give you what was not originally imputed into that system. What AI does is to harness across the world, across the globe, every kind of input over time that has gone into it, because at the end, it's a machine, it's a technology. Inadequate funding, low digital literacy, weak regulatory framework. And I mean, you guys know this more than myself, what we face with regulation. Sometimes it's not about the law, it is about the implementation, the monitoring, the evaluation, the regulatory framework. It has to be stronger than it is today. And of course, like I said, the data privacy concern and the limited local AI solutions. We have to, like Shadrach said at the beginning, we need to take our seat in the front row. It's not about what is handed down, it's about what Africa also has, to offer. So these are the challenges, and I probably wanted to talk about 5-year roadmap, but time fails me. I'll talk about the skills for future veterinarians. Every future veterinarian must begin to be ready in the sense of digital competence. You must learn, digital. You must become handy with the computer. Your competence must grow, and of course we talk of AI, then data analytics, the GIS is also there. You know, we have critical thinking. It's not all about tech, because again, I like to sound it clear that AI cannot replace us as veterinarians, but it will improve our work. So there is this aspect of critical thinking. Future veterinarians must begin to take up that nature. I don't know whether to call it a skill. We must be able to have people who can think critically. It makes for leadership, it makes for better communication. And then, of course, there is collaboration. Gone are these times when it's me, myself, and I at yahoo.com. You want to do it all alone. You want to get what you can what you get, and sit on the can. The world has moved on. It's about collaboration now. It's about coming together to innovate, to profile solutions that are not just local, but are global in nature. And the key success factors for public-private partnership will be trust, because when we are talking of two different entities coming together for a common greater goal, for the good of the society or the global world, trust is part of what we make that successful. The shared vision, the sustainability, and that we talk of finance, the strong governance, data quality, policy support, capacity building, continuous innovation. These things are very important if we are going to be successful. Excuse me, as I round up, I want to reemphasize that AI is a tool. It is not a replacement for veterinarians. Public-private partnership are essential. And Africa has the opportunity to leapfrog traditional system. We can do it better. If I can vaccinate 30,000 birds in 20 minutes, why should I do it for 9 hours? And I've been involved in this since 2014. I was involved in my days working with Marian, and we are privileged to bring in these equipments, into Nigeria as far back as 2014, yeah. And we trained a couple of people. And so these are things that have even improved beyond that time, between then and now. We are talking of equipments that can do far more. You have machines that can vaccinate 60,000 birds in 1 hour. And I have used these machines. And so I know firsthand that these things are there and have improved. So investment today will improve animal health, food security, disease control, One Health, and of course, there will be economic growth. My last slide. We must adapt to change. Businesses embrace agility. We must talk real-world impact. Africa cannot continue to sit at the back bench and wait for things to happen. Industry leaders who stay ahead of disruption are those who proactively embrace change and continuously innovate. We must collaborate. This is very important. So we embrace change, we lead the future. The world is shifting, and those who adapt and innovate will be the ones who lead the way. I thank you very much for listening, and I hope I've been able to make some impact within the short time. Thank you very much.